Doug Upstone here for Vegas Pro Insiders Daily. Today is Saturday, November 11th, Veterans Day. So anyone that's a veteran, happy Veterans Day to you. Thank you for your service and everything that you've done in terms of for our country and for protecting all of our freedom, okay? So that we have the ability to go over and talk about sports, bet on sports, do any number of different things. So it's all good, right? All right, so let's make this work. Hey, we're going to talk some NFL today. And what we're going to talk, a little bit different though today, because we had so many games the other day in terms of looking at, you know, what could occur, that we only have actually one new game to talk about, but we have some other elements in some of the other games that have changed. So we're just going to go right down the list, and it turns out the last game that we have will have a completely new information on that one. All right, one of the things I wanted to do before I get started is I wanted to let you know, Vegas Pro Insiders Daily Inner Circle, $99 a month, okay? And one thing I want to read to you right from my website, something that one of the VPID Inner Circle members sent me this week, okay? So it's a great testimonial. It says, Doug, just gotta give you a shout out again. VPID is by far and away the best service I subscribe to. Love rolling with you and Sean, Kyle, Jim, and Dennis. All of these guys win more than they lose. This might sound dumb, but yet it's true. Hey, build the bankroll, baby. Take some names. VPID style, baby. That's from Wes, who lives in LA and who is an Inner Circle member. Now, myself, on a nice roll right now in the NFL, 15-5, 13-6 in all my plays over the last 8 days. Kyle Hunter is 66% in college football recently. Sean Higgs, I think, is 58% in college football and 66% in the NBA to start the season. So he's really rolling on that. Jim Mack, the last 2 weeks, he's at 66.6% the last 2 weeks. And Dennis Macklin is up, let's see here, since last year, I think last September in football, all football now, since last September, he's up, if you just flat bet $100, you'd be up $4,300. Dennis has been rolling in football for quite some time. So, hey, that's all available to you, plus in-season systems, super systems, power ratings, all kinds of stuff, $99 a month. That's all it's going to cost you, okay? So we got that out of the way. I just wanted to let you know about that. And, you know, hey, it's there for you, my friends. The money's there. The stuff works, as Wes just explained to us. That's the case. All right, NFL. Ready? Week 10? Minnesota and Washington. We talked about the other day. The Vikings went from -2.5 down to -1. They're back up to -1.5 against Washington, but the big change has been the total. That has fallen from 43 down to 41 points. Now, in this case, I think it's a combination of how good the Vikings defense is, right? I mean, that certainly plays a big part of it. And then Washington has gotten a lot of their defensive, not a lot, they've gotten some of their defensive players back, so that's been a big help for them. Also, in this one, though, you know what? I don't like the low total. I really don't. I think both teams' offenses are going to move the ball. I think they're going to score some points. And I actually like the over, and I also like Minnesota to cover the 1.5 as it sits right now. Next up, Pittsburgh and Indianapolis. Now, this total went from 43 to 44.5. It kept on going. It's up to 45. 90% of bettors are still on the over, but you know what? I'm going against those bettors. I like the under. I think the defense, the Pittsburgh defense is playing outstanding. As I mentioned the other day, I think they're a running team, which slows the pace of the game down. They're only averaging 21 points a game. Indianapolis isn't going to score much against this. I like the under 45 on that game. Another one with a switch. Now the Jets and Tampa Bay, that total went from a pick to the Jets -2.5. Stayed there since Wednesday. Hasn't budged an inch. But the total has gone up from 41 all the way to 43.5. Well, that's a pretty big move. You know, the other day I mentioned that I don't I don't like Ryan Fitzpatrick. Okay, I'm not even gonna pretend, you know, you know, supposedly like do the right thing and stuff like that. I just don't think he's any good. Okay, never have, never will. In that regard, I still like the Jets to cover the 2.5 and the rising total. I'm going to say it's going to be an interception thrown by Ryan Fitzpatrick that sends this baby over, not saying a pick six, even though that's a possibility, or at the very least, interception that leads directly to Gang Green scoring on this one. I'm all over it on both sides. Jets and over. Now, the Buffalo-New Orleans game, the total on that one dropped 2 points early in the week. It's back up. It went as high as it went as low, as 46.5 after starting at 48.5. It's back to 48, and I am not shocked at all that's occurred. I think this is going to be a much higher scoring game, and myself personally, I back on Wednesday, I got all the value I could. I bet that baby at 46.5 on the over. I like it, and I'm sticking with it. Houston and the Rams. Now, this is an interesting one. Now, this total, or this side, went the Rams from -10 up to 11.5. Now, this morning when I checked, referring to Saturday, when I checked the information on the various websites, the regular, let's just call it the sports books, the offshore sports books that cater to the masses, that one was still, the Rams were 11.5 or even -12. But when I checked the sports books that are more known for sharper action, I mean, obviously they take regular people's money, but they also, they're just more known for taking sharper action. That's down to 10.5. So I think it's pretty interesting myself. Either way, I like the Rams. Doesn't make any difference to me. I got the Rams 10.5 to 11.5. I happened to get it at 10.5 the other day. I'm on it. One thing I did want to mention before we go any further is that you'll see, I'm not going to talk about Atlanta and Dallas. That total's come down a lot. I don't cover games typically that have anything to do with injuries. That's why, or injuries, or in this case, suspensions of Ezekiel Elliott. That's why I'm not going to talk about it. But I am going to talk about the New York Giants and San Francisco. And in this one, the Giants went from a pick to 2.5. They have continued to go up. About 30% of the books I checked are now at 3, with the rest still at 2.5. You know what? I hate this game, okay? And as I mentioned the other day, I think I deserve some props or even talking about it. I'm not betting it. I'm not even going to think about betting it. In terms of giving out a pick on this one, I'm going to say there's a 51% chance that the Giants cover. How's that, okay? Which means there's a 49% chance that San Francisco can. If I had to put this into one, it'd be one word with one exception. I would go #pass. Okay, that's what I would do on this one. The slightest of leans on the New York Football Giants. Finally, we come to the game that is fresh, new, that we haven't talked about at all, which is the Sunday night game, New England and Denver. Now, this total has fallen 2 points to 44.5, and the reasons as to why: Denver's offense, no good. Brock Osweiler, no good. That's a problem. And I think that the thought process is the Broncos defense is going to be extremely fired up, okay, for this game to go against Tom Brady and the boys, because they just gave up 51 points to Philly. That's an embarrassing number. So I think that's going to be where the action's at. This isn't going to be a big play for me, but I agree that the direction of the total going down. And found this out: Denver, after they've given up 17 or more points in the first half of 2 consecutive games, they're 13-3 under. Okay. So if you'd like to get a recap of this article, it'll be posted on Sunday morning. I will post it up then, and I will also have the what the public, some of the favorite plays. And right now the public's been pretty good on totals, 17-10. So that'll be up Sunday morning. So now this day, I'm heading out down to Tempe, Arizona here. Going to meet a couple of VPID members are in town, so I'm going to meet them, and also a couple of my couple guys from the West Coast Wise Guys happen to be in town playing in a golf outing, so I'm going to meet them as well. So as of right now, Doug Upstone for Vegas Pro Insiders. I am out.